One of the most important amenities of an off-grid property, or any property for that matter, is a place to use the restroom. At our property in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, that place is an outhouse. We had the tank for the outhouse installed right after the driveway was completed. That would have been autumn of 2023. When we went back in summer of 2024, we put in the foundation for our cabin. Then we got to work on building the walls for the outhouse. The first step was to measure the length and width of the lid, making sure to leave enough room that the lid of the pedestal, that's the toilet seat, wouldn't fall back down while we were using
68 by 72.
We're using treated lumber for the bottom plates of the four walls. This is really important because that bottom plate is very likely to get wet, whether from rain and snow or just from moisture wicking up through the concrete. Now, I'm measuring two boards at the same time and using a speed square in order to draw the cut line. I'll put an X on the side of that line that is to be cut off. And then I am labeling the boards so that I know if they're the front and back or if they're the sides. And now I'm measuring carefully again, using that speed square again to extend that cut line and placing an X on the side that is to be cut off. Now, I've seen on YouTube that you leave the line on the side you're keeping for more accurate measurement. So you don't want to cut off the line. You don't want to cut through the line. This is what I have seen on YouTube. I'm not an expert. I don't know, but that's what we did. By the way, that red pen I'm using, that's made by Milwaukee, the tool company. It's made specifically for marking on wood, even in damp conditions. It's my new favorite pen for doing anything related to construction. Now I'm ready to start cutting. I'm pretty nervous. I just don't have a lot of experience with power tools. I'm using the edge of the speed square as a physical guide to keep the saw straight as I cut. Also, come to find out, our skill saw has a little red laser light that will shine on the board's surface. This also helps to keep the cut straight. Brock had to show me how to use that, but once you know the buttons there, it's easy. Now we're marking the spots where the bolts go through the bottom plates. It's as simple as laying the boards on top of the bolts, then whacking them with a 3-pound hammer. From there, we drill the holes with a spade bit and test fit it. We'll do that all the way around. One thing we didn't account for was the handles on the edges of the lid. We want to keep those in case something happens and the lid has to be removed. So we have to cut a notch in the bottom board on two sides to accommodate them. It's really not a problem. Brock just goes over the board multiple times and the little bits and bobs just kind of come out. Easy peasy.
That's going to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to build our outhouse with our studs at 16 inches on center. And I just had to look up how to do this. I knew there was a little trick to making sure you got it right. And it is, you start at the end, you measure out your 16 inches, and then you back up 3/4 of an inch for your mark. So you go, 3/4 of an inch. And then put your little X there so that you know. Then every 16 inches,
There should be markings on the tape measure.
there are markings on the tape measure. In my case, there is a box around the number. So go to 32 and back up 3/4 of an inch. Mark that, put a little X to show that that's where your stud sits. And then we do it again. 4 foot, back up 3/4 of an inch. And I came loose. And I get all the way to the end. I have my 16 inches. I back up 3/4 of an inch. Put my X there. But I actually have an extra half an inch. I got 63 1/4. And then I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm going to be 1/4 of an inch off from the corner.
So you just put it on the corner.
So I'm just going to put it on the corner. There you go. So this one is going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 studs. And because it's our 8-foot high wall, we're not putting any windows. We're just going to use the studs. And this is our base plate. So we have to cut 2x4s for the top plates for our walls. And they're the same size as the bottom plates. So we're just going to copy the measurement here.
Do we need it for 10 foot side? Do we need it for the side? Oh, yeah, I don't need it for side.
10-foot wall has to have one too. Has to have its own top plate. You still have to make panels. You're making 4 panels. Okay, go ahead and take that one away. Or just set it aside or whatever. Probably shouldn't do that.
We're doing both at the same time.
Give it fly. There you go. You put a mark on the side that you want to cut off. That way, you cut. This is what I saw in the video. You actually cut on the X side of the line. You need the line.
Right over here. Let's go fly.
Yeah? You gonna go start the Jenny? I was gonna go start the Jenny. You can start the Jenny.
Here Brock is crowning the boards for the studs. When you lay these down, you want to put them crown up. This prevents them from rocking, assuming you're actually on a flat surface. And it prevents waves in your wall. We're working on the ground here.
Ha! One stud started!
In retrospect, I think it would have been wise to get a few pallets from town to make a flat surface. The uneven ground made it really hard to build these walls. What should have taken a couple of hours instead took all day because of the surface. In the end, we figured it out. We put some scrap wood under the edges to level things out and took turns holding our end so the other could hammer in the nails. By the way, I've learned that you want 1 nail for every 2 inches, so a 2x4 wants 2 nails, and a 2x6 wants 3 nails, a 2x8 wants 4 nails, etc. Now the first panel's done, and it's time to stand it up. Before we install it, we have to put down a moisture barrier. This blue stuff that I'm laying down is made to go between wood and concrete, but you still have to use treated wood at the bottom. If you leave this out, your bottom plate may still rot. We set the wall in place and secure it with washers and nuts. Now we're working on the back wall. We've had to modify this one a little because of where the bolts are in the corner. Leave a comment if you can see the modification we made. That went a lot faster with the video sped up. Oops! Looks like we forgot the sill seal. Better get that in real quick. Now we just make sure they're plumb and we fasten the 2 walls together. This third wall is a little different. No, that's not a door we're framing. We're putting in a window. Especially in summer, it helps to have a little extra ventilation. It will also help with light, so we don't have to run an electric light during the day. Nothing like using the bathroom in the dark. I really envy Brock's ability to kneel for this job. Sorry, everybody, for having to see me bend over so much, but I worked all summer with a broken foot. I could barely stand up, barely walk. There was no way my foot would allow me to kneel down. Here is the test. Will the window fit? We have to shim it, remember? We still have to shim it.
Yeah, but it's supposed to get nailed in.
It doesn't get nailed in on the bottom, does it?
Maybe that's why, is because there's not a deep enough flange for it to get nailed further down. That's why they went with 1/4 inch. And I said, oh no, let's go with 1 inch or whatever. So now you got, look at this gap.
Too big of a gap. So after just a little fiddling, we used a little bit of pallet wood to make sort of a shim. We've filled in an extra 1/2 inch on the bottom and a 1/2 inch on one side, and now our window fits correctly. Do not listen to YouTubers. Read the directions. Thank you.
Here we are the next day. The rain has stopped, the ground has started to dry out, and we're able to get the wall up. We didn't actually install that window yet. It will get installed later, after the siding goes on, and before the trim. Did I mention that one side of the outhouse is 8 feet tall and the other is 10 feet? That gives us plenty of room inside while achieving a decent pitch for the roof.
Brock wants a 3-foot wide door. So that leaves us 16 inches on either end to put our wall. So 68 minus 16, I think it's 52. And that works really, really well if you don't have a bolt sticking out where you need your king stud. So the door is going to end up being just a smidge less than 36 inches wide, because we have to be able to get a king stud and a jack stud in there so that we can have a header over the door. So we've got 16 and then 1.5 and then another, wait a minute, what did I do? I did 1 1/4, 1.5, all right, then another 1.5. So go away, fly, you bother me. So this is our king stud, and this is our jack stud. And the king stud is the one that goes all the way to the top.
Kind of like me. King stud. Try not to throw up.
And we're going to come over here and measure. This is going to work. We have to have at least 1 inch past the edge of the hole. So that puts us at 14 inches. Well, it almost works, not quite. 14, then we go to 15 and a half. And then from 15, we go to 15 and a half, we go to 17. Our door is not going to be entirely centered, but we're trying to make it as wide as we can get it.
And there you go. All 4 walls are framed, they're stood up, and they're nailed together. And with a little pushing and pulling, we actually got them plumb. So join me next time, and we will get the siding up and the roof up, at least most of the siding up. Definitely the roof up. Thanks for joining us. God bless.